Hey there, bad helper. How you doing tonight? Can you hear me okay? I'm sorry you guys are in such an awkward time zone compared to me. Curious why you're not showing up as a viewer. Oh, there we go. It's showing up as 2 there. It wasn't showing up at first. Were you watching the other day when I played Horatio? I can't remember if you were watching that one. I know you weren't in one of them. You want to see a cool little trick I learned today? That's pretty freaking awesome. So, one of the cool things that I found in Endless Legend that you can do is you can disable the UI interface, and it makes it really nice for taking screenshots, but it also works on the opening screen. So I was curious if you could do the same thing in Endless Space 2, and it turns out you can. If you hold down Shift and you press F10, the UI will disappear until you press it again. And so it makes cool. Oh, okay. That's what it was. Yeah, because the neutral ships, when you first get them, aren't cloaked. That makes total sense now. That was one of the many mysteries of that game that I couldn't quite figure out what the hell was going on. But as I was saying, with this UI interface, you can do this, and you can actually record animated GIFs of this, or just take screenshots, and they make really nice backgrounds or thumbnails. So I might try to make some thumbnails later on. I also asked the devs why it's no longer cycling through the different factions when you load into the game. It used to be semi-random, it seemed, and now like every time I load in, it's always Umbral Choir. And I don't know if they're gonna fix that at some point, but I hope they do, because I like the other artwork too. But yeah, Shift F10, pretty neat little trick. I'm probably not going to start for another 5 or 6 minutes, so if you just want to hang out for a minute, I'll probably be on and off the computer while I wait for a few people to join. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured, and I'm guessing that maybe in the next patch, the next like quality of life patch or whatever, they'll probably reset it back to semi-random again. Sorry, I'm dealing with a little bit of a cold today, so I'm probably going to be coughing more than normal. I do love me some Irish coffee. I made one this morning, but I haven't made one this evening. I actually have just a whiskey cocktail here. A little ginger ale and whiskey. It is my new favorite pastime. I was pleasantly surprised in that Umbral Choir game how far I managed to get in 2 hours. Usually by that point in the game, I don't even get through 10 turns at a time. I'm going to continue the last game of Horatio. So I think we got through the first 30 turns in that one before we stopped. And I looked over the save file earlier this morning and saw a number of things that I wanted to talk about. And also just expand another 10, 15, 20 turns and see where we get with him. I haven't played Horatio since the last recordings that I did, so it's been a little while. And I'm kind of curious if anything significant has changed from what I remember. So far, there hasn't been much. Yeah, that was pretty crazy, and that's what happens with the choir, man. It just goes insane. What I really want to explore, and we may end up playing more of that one too, I just researched behemoth tech, and I've heard rumors that an economic behemoth is just bonkers if you can get a couple of them stacked up on your home system. Get the modules that just give you like flat percent, not flat, but percent bonuses to all your FIDSI outputs on your system. Pretty crazy. So that might be what we end up trying next. I'll probably build some military and some economic behemoths, and then we'll just kind of decide if we're going to go for like an economic victory and just use our military to hold our territory. The trade route is really interesting. One thing I wish I had paid a little more attention to the last few turns there is we had started to bank a bunch of dust again, and every turn I should really be spending any leftover dust we have on upgrading those trade routes as fast as possible, because it's the upgraded trade routes that really start to pay off in the mid to late game. That's how you get an economic victory, really. And I'm curious to see how well the choir's trade routes scale, because they seem to start so much more powerfully than other factions do. And I'm wondering if the downside is they don't scale as hard into the late game, which seems likely just because of the way trade routes normally work, where you get to put extra headquarters down, and each headquarters builds new paths to all the other subsidiaries. So with one headquarter, you're not getting very much. You got one headquarter, one subsidiary. But with two, you have two headquarters, each drawing trade routes to each subsidiary. So you go up to 4 subsidiaries. And then the next one, I don't remember what type of number sequence that is, but it's one of those growing number sequences that pays off really, really huge once you get a few of them down. The problem is it takes longer to get them down because you got to build the headquarters and the subsidiary, which takes time. So we don't have that problem with the choir. But we also only get one headquarter. right, it is after 7 o'clock. Yeah, that would be another thing that we could do. I've never been real good at micromanaging my economic prowess in these games. I only ever tend to do it when I'm in need, which is not probably the right way to do it, but let's go ahead and find that Horatio live stream. That should be the one. And we'll go ahead and get started. So, kicking off the Horatio game we played the other day. As I pointed out a few minutes ago, I opened up the save file this morning and just kind of looked around and came across a handful of things that I want to go back and talk about and correct before we move forward with this turn. So one of the things that got talked about quite frequently in the last video's comment section was related to government and this law right here. I felt like we had a really good start, and maybe probably too good of a start to be indicative of what's typical, but we'll kind of see how it plays out. We did start with JDonics and 2 really good systems, and so anytime you start with JDonics, you can't say it's anything but a good start, really. But in the comment sections, people were asking about this particular law. It is the law that's fundamentally always part of the ecologist party, as long as you're the leading political party. It gives you plus 15 on all of your systems, and it enables you the ability to colonize planets that are not gas planets. But it does have a penalty if you don't have the technology for it. This is really powerful. One thing I forgot, and I knew this from my previous time playing with the Horatio, on turn 1, the plus 15 doesn't show up. You're not actually getting that plus 15 if you look at your approval on the very first turn of the game. It kicks in as soon as you end the turn and go into turn 2. And that can be kind of confusing for setting up whether or not you want to like try to push into happy or ecstatic with certain buildings and things. And so one of the strategies that you can do is get some early approval buildings down and push yourself into ecstatic pretty easily with the Horatio, as opposed to a lot of the other factions, which really need like 2 buildings to get that done. So that's something that I kind of misplayed at the beginning of the game that I wanted to point out. Also, there's a number of things going on in our systems, but you can see we're at turn 30 and we're doing really well. All of our systems have over 100 industry. We're pushing close to 300 on our primary system, and our approval ratings are all really high. That has to do some with running Toys for Boys, and this also came up in the comment section. Why don't I run the other law instead of this one, or why did I switch? Because I think originally I started with the other one that gives you, what is it called? Cram for exam. Gives you science for a little bit of approval penalty. The reason that I like running this law on occasion is the minus 10% industry sucks, but if your industry is pretty good, what it does provide you is extra food, influence, dust, and science. And it's a net gain in terms of total fidsies. Now, keep in mind, not all fidsies are created equal, and not all needs are equal at every point in the game. But generally speaking, if you're able to get significantly more fidsies from approval than you lose, which in this case we do, then it's probably the right choice. And so that's one of the reasons why I switched that up, because I think the food, influence, dust, and science that we are getting is worth more than the little bit of industry and very, very small amount of science that we would have lost at the time. Okay, there were a number of things that I wanted to also look at empire-wise. And one of the things that really bothered me about the Pulso system we picked up, The AI built both of these buildings, which are good buildings in most circumstances, but they're terrible on this system because he has an ash world. Drone networks and cerebral reality would have been way better purchases. So I don't know what the AI was thinking here. I talked to SB about it briefly. Hopefully he gets a chance to look into it when he gets a little bit more educated on the matter. But yeah, the AI just makes some really dumb choices, and it's not obvious as to why. So we'll see if we can't fix that. But there was something I wanted to do in one of my systems, and I'm trying to remember what it was now. We've taken care of all of that. We're building industry here and growing population there. I'm not going to remember what it was. Alright, technology-wise, we're in the middle of galactic commodities, which is good. Yeah, I can't remember what it was that I wanted to do. There was definitely something I came in here and looked at and changed this morning. I could have sworn it was like a... Oh, here it is. This is probably what it was. Yeah, this is what it was. Okay. So when we colonized these planets, it pulled these populations off. I actually always want to have these guys on the system with the most food and industry. So we're going to move these guys back over here. And then before we colonize any more planets, it would make a lot of sense to go ahead and grab these two buildings. These buildings are going to make every one of these colonizations more valuable. Okay, now I feel better that I remembered the one thing that I wanted to do. You see anything else, Bad Helper? I think I'm ready to move on to the first real turn of this game. Our score's pretty much in line with everybody else. Yes, we are going to be removing the pirates relatively quickly, and that was probably the other thing. We did look at ships briefly. And at the end of the last video, I kitted out some ships with lots of missiles. I still think that this is a pretty good play against the pirates as they are. It's not ideal because it's easy to counter, but right now the ships they have will not be able to stand up to this, I don't believe. And then our tool, we kitted out with shields because they had a lot of energy weapons, and that's why missiles are going to be effective. So, yeah, we'll be building those here pretty soon. Also, we have this fleet over here. We're just kind of moving them closer so that they can participate in the invasion, hopefully. They have a fair amount of manpower on them, and that's what I'd like to use that manpower for. But yeah, splicing, I don't think we need to worry about that just yet. We've already spliced the pulsos. I'm going to be slicing the Zivali very, very soon, because we're going to be getting rid of them entirely. And this is another, we just colonized that, so moving this over makes a lot of sense. In fact, that's why our approval was kind of down, I think. Maybe not on this system. But this planet has a lot of industry but no food, and I really want to take advantage of food where I can at the moment. Actually, looking at the raw outputs here, this is the better system to have everybody on, isn't it? 6, 6, 5, and 3 is better than this. So let's just put everybody over there. There we go. A little bit more dust, a little bit, that helped our income a little bit. You can spend a lot of time micromanaging all this stuff. We're not going to do a ton of that, but it's definitely something you should look at least every couple of turns. Alright, so they've already traced our scan. We did it from 2 nodes away, and I believe we were running 2 accelerators at the time, so we should be able to make this work. 5 turns is a long time, but I don't think they're going to trace all the way back. We do have encryption here. I could put encryption over here as well, but I think we're out of bandwidth, so we'll just have to cross our fingers. Okay, we did get a new Zavali, so this is an opportunity to potentially splice them out of our empire. Now, if we do this, we will no longer have any Zavali, and we will lose 4 population, which is actually a pretty big hit. But our food's really high, and it's going to make our Horatio really, really good at science. The splice effect is to approval with a little bit of science. We already have science on our population from the pulsos that we spliced. So I think we're going to go ahead and do that. What do I need to do? Where do I go to splice this again? Right here, splice genes. Bye-bye. Interesting. It still shows up here, but it doesn't show any population. I've never seen that before, to my knowledge. Alright, so we lost some population. That's going to hurt us a little bit, but not a ton. And it was all on this system, so it will grow back really quickly. And then we need to start looking for other minor factions that we might want to splice into our population. I think we're just sending probes out with this scout, trying to find another constellation. We could run over here and jump across that way pretty soon. Yeah, let's move over this way and shoot some more probes out that way. We've already got some praise rolling on this guy. I have enough to do another one, but I think I'm going to wait and save up our approval for a little while. Let's take a look at all of our systems. Everybody's building something important. We're still in the very early part of the game. Income is a problem, but I think we're going to solve that momentarily. We have a fair number of luxury resources, and there's a really good system over here. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to do. I think we're going to go ahead, and before we build these ships, I'm going to try to sneak a beautifier in here and go ahead and get this colonized. This is an amazing system that we really should be rushing now that we're not running a colony anywhere else. We really should be getting another one if we have an opportunity to. Okay. This hack is still working. It's going to take quite a few turns, but we've got nothing but time right now. This is unfortunate. So they're already sieging one of our planets. I don't know that they're going to stay here. A lot of times pirates will jump to a node and then just take off shortly after. That's fine. Okay. I guess it's a good thing that they're over there and not over by the system that we want to grab, because we're going to get this very soon. If they stick around too long, I may end up moving this fleet over here to try to push them off. It shows up as 4, but they're really 2 fleets of 2. So if they attack us in this configuration, it'll be 2v3, and we might actually win that engagement, although not without losses, because these are really bad ships, as I recall. The other thing we could do is just rush their system and start to siege it down and hopefully pull these guys off. We have 2 probes. We'll send out 2 like that, and then keep heading this direction and probably jump from here across. We'll need to make sure we get that tech soon. And we're going to need 6 of whatever population we end up grabbing next. Ooh, that's interesting. So they're jumping off and heading to this node. I don't really want to get in a fight with these guys if I don't have to. But that's going to delay their ability to mess with us for a while. So we're going to move over here and then probably down this way and around. Alright. Counselors took this choice for you. Own the system of Alioth and raise it to a rate of 50 to get a new hero, who is a militarist. This is a terrible system. What is this quest again? Get the approval to 50. Well, that should be easy. But I don't know that I want to waste a system slot for that. I'll have to think about that. I guess it is part of our faction quest, isn't it? So now all of our population are producing an extra 4 food per population pip, and we currently have some of the strongest population pips in the game, and they're only going to get better. Horatio now provides 6 food, 4 on hot, 2 approval, 2 science, 2 industry. Yeah, the military option is already in the queue. That hero might come in handy for sure, and in fact, we may end up deviating our beautifier for that, but I think what's more likely is we'll grab this, we'll build another beautifier here and send that one over. I don't even think I have the tech to fly across excuse me, open space yet. So let's take a look. Yeah, I don't have it yet. We're gonna have to pick up baryonic shielding anyways, which is gonna take a couple turns. Well, 1 turn. Let's go ahead and grab that, because we're gonna need it here soon. We got a new point here. Population is going to produce more on our home system. That's good. And then we're going to unlock some new abilities, all of which are okay. This one I really like. We'll talk about why a little bit later. But our home system now has some options. Alright, so those are really expensive. This is going to have to move up in the queue. And we only have... I don't want to put any population over here, though. Alright. We did get the ability to sell our luxuries, so that's probably what's going to happen. I'm going to go ahead and keep building food buildings here. This one gets done in 3. That one takes a little longer. We'll get both of these down, and that's going to fill out our population very, very quickly. And over here, let's see, where do we want these guys? Over here for sure. Sustainable farms and public privates both need to be built first before we do any more colonization, just like on the other system. We're really close to being able to transition to military if we want to. I'm just not quite there yet. And this system is going to get this done quicker than it looks. The hard part about this system is it's just not going to grow very quickly. We did move up a tier on the military tech tree, which is good. So this is probably the system that builds the beautifier that ends up colonizing this for that hero. And then we'll look at building some siege ships here shortly. Alright, we can colonize, and I believe the tundra is the right choice here, so we can start bringing in more strategics. The other option would be to try to start bringing in transvine and blue cap mold, but this system is not really good for colonizing. The low amount of food and industry make it a suboptimal choice, other than the luxuries. We'll start over here. And I don't have the dust for this right this second, but we might be able to finagle with the marketplace and sell some things. Because we do have quite a bit. So we have a ton of food. We could sell that and make a ton of money. Let's go ahead and do that. We have small amounts of these. We don't really need them at the moment. I am going to hold on to our Jadonics for the short term because we're going to need that for systems that get started. I think all of our systems are at level 2 system development, but we're going to have a couple more here pretty soon. And that's going to allow me to pay this, which is going to double the food output on this system for 10 turns and lower the colony down to 14 minus the food. Where do we want food coming from? Probably not from Mizar, probably from our new place, because it's closer. Mizar has the food, but this place is closer, so I'm going to go ahead and pick that one for now. We're really low on food in that system, but there's not a lot I can do about that right this second. Okay, and then technology-wise, we can now fly across there when we are ready to. In order to get ready for the pirates, I want to go ahead and grab this. This is going to allow me to build siege modules, which is really important, and also swarm missiles, which I think we're going to have to very quickly switch to from the missiles we currently have. Exactly. That was the other reason why I didn't want to go from here, because pirates are patrolling this region at the moment, while over here seems to be relatively safe. Good comment. So now I'm not really worried about this minus 66 dust. Is there anything else we need to be concerned about? I don't think so. I think we're good to go another turn here. It looks like I have another curiosity over here we've unlocked that we can search here momentarily. Alright. I could sit here for a few turns, but they have over 600 defensive manpower already, and there's no way that this ship's going to sit here for that long. So I'm actually just going to keep moving. I don't want those pirates to catch up to me. Horatio are growing like crazy. More planets have been colonized. And let's just take a look. You can see more systems are above 200 industry now. This one's getting close already. Alright, assimilate a new population, which we will be doing. And we finally have hacked to the pirates. I already have a back door there. I think what we're going to do is just sabotage their supplies. This is going to reduce the power of their fleets. And prolong how long it takes them to actually get the fleets out. Out of curiosity...
Now we can agree on a prize.
Yeah, we're nowhere close to pushing across this line here. If we were able to get over here, they wouldn't attack us necessarily. But since we're down here, there's not much we can do. So let's go ahead and sabotage their supplies. Alright, we've got our beautifier completed. Keep these population over here for the time being. And this is the system that I want to start building dust buildings. This building is going to be incredibly efficient here because we have a luxury on 3 of the most populatable planets on here. So there's a lot of population available to these. We can even pull some of these guys off of this planet if the overpopulation starts to become an issue, but right now it's not. And it's still by far the best system, planet in the system to colonize. So we'll go ahead and do this. We'll get our beautifier out, and then this is a big boost to our approval. We don't really need that right this second, but this system may be building ships very soon, so I'm going to go ahead and put big data shipyards in here as well. That's going to allow our ships to start at a higher level once we do start producing them. Alright, this beautifier needs to fly over to Alioth, and this one we might actually send ships, food ships to from Mizar instead of Mira, but we'll see. Alright, technology, we are in a good spot to do a couple of things. I could grab botanical scanning, which just lets us ramp food even more, which is really important to us at the moment. We could also jump up to neural robotics in 5 turns. And that's going to give us a really strong building for us. This is only 1 turn to research, so I'm going to go ahead and do that first. And then I'm going to go ahead and queue this up. We will get the tanks while we are in the process of sieging the pirates down, and then we'll be ready to do the invasion after we've softened them up a bit with our siege ships. I can also take these guys out of the queue because I think we can upgrade these ships here in a moment. So when we're ready to build ships here in just a few minutes, let's take a look here. I'm actually going to move both of these over here. Just because this system is better with a little bit more food. Okay, we made it over here. I've got 4 probes. I can get 1 that way. Maybe send 1 out that way. And then go ahead and head out. It's going to take a while for us to get over there, but what else do we need? Nothing at the moment. I think we're in a pretty good spot. We need to set another hack, of course. So we were able to do the hack this way before. We should be able to do it again. And we'll just keep harassing them. Do I not have the accelerator? Maybe the accelerator was used in a different game. I thought we put accelerators on these, but... Yeah, I think you're right, Tim. We were doing a lot of hacking that game. Welcome back to the channel, by the way. What is going on here? Curious. What? What is going on with Alioth? And why am I unable to colonize it? It says it's already colonized. Yeah, that's a little bit confusing. I'm not sure what's going on there. It's a quest spawn system, but I'm pretty sure it asked me to colonize it. So we built a beautifier and sent it over there, because when it initially spawned, it wasn't white like that. I mean, we have to take the Horatio hero, right? This ship would make an okay combat ship. What do we got for abilities? Not the greatest combat abilities there or there. Or there. So probably not you. Do either of you two have better combat abilities? No. Not really. Yeah, you're pretty similar to the other one. Alright, so rather than making this a combat hero, maybe we just grab the Horatio hero and put him down as a governor. Yeah, I kind of noticed that as well, but I didn't think anything of it until we tried to settle on it. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm going to have to go back and look at that quest again. I think I know what... I didn't see anything in that quest that suggested that that would happen and that we would have to do an invasion to take it. Alright, so we're going to make you a governor. We're going to get a military hero from that quest anyways, so it makes sense to go ahead and make this guy a governor, in my opinion. The only system that's slightly struggling with approval right now is this one, and since we're getting some approval, this might be the right one to put him on. Governor? Yes. Let's start with that. Clear these out. We've got a new law slot and more movement on our civilian class ships. More Horatio being born. We want to see that all day, every day. We need to beautify this lovely galaxy. So what? Yeah, it's already colonized, clearly. Alright, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Kerr's not really that exciting, and neither is Deneb. You know what? This could be a good, if it wasn't 7 turns, way to use this fleet. Yeah, let's take a look at the quest. Yeah, it just says own the system of Alioth and raise its approval rate to 5. I guess this is why raising the approval rate to 50 matters, because you're going to have to take it over. Oh, I remember this quest now. Okay. If you actually read the flavor text, I'm pretty sure what it is one of your clones has kind of like created a rebellion army, or created his own system, and you're going to have to squash it. So that's what it is. So we'll send this fleet over to do that. It's going to take a few turns. Until then, what am I doing with this guy? We might as well send him somewhere where we might use him. I guess I'll send him over here. Well, that could be dangerous with the pirates, right? We could just fly straight across this way. 15% industry, which is one of the other real lucky things that we got. So between Jdonics and that, like, we solved a lot of early industry problems that normally a Horatio player faces. Because we would not be doing this well on industry without those two things being active at the moment. In fact, we'd be doing even a little bit better on industry if I wasn't running Toys for Boys, but Toys for Boys is keeping us at a positive place. We also have the green fertility bill now. We don't have a lot of anomalies, though. Cool copies is interesting. We don't have enough influence to run it, but yeah, Estra seems as good a place as any. That's why I'm sending him over to Volans, but we're using free space so that the pirates won't intercept us. It's only going to take 6 turns to get to here. At that point, we may have some better engines we can even put on it, but we'll see. I'm not in a huge hurry to get this system because I've already started colonizing Perseus, which is amazing. And so this is my priority for settlements right now. We were just going to do this real quick because the quest was going to give us a military hero to help deal with the pirates. But I wasn't paying enough attention to look into this more when I saw the color change. Alright, Horatio born every turn. I'm curious. We should look and see what Cram for Exam does to our approval ratings. We have a lot of systems now, but we're well above the threshold. So maybe we do Cram for Exam. If I Cram for Exam... yeah, we're all still very happy. That's a good call. I need to remember to do that more frequently. Usually, though, my empire is so large by that time that the penalties are pretty huge. But you know what's offsetting that? And one of the reasons that we're able to run that has a lot to do with our gene splicing. Because we're getting +2 and +4. So, yeah. This is going to end in a turn, and we're going to have to make sure that we pop it again. Which may get kind of expensive, and I may end up regretting selling all of my Red Sang earlier. Because now we got to buy back 22 of it. It should be cheap though, right? Ouch. That's expensive. Still. Totally worth popping this for the extra food and approval that we're going to get from it. Also, just to... we're already at our 20. So we're already getting plus 15% food. And it won't be long till we hit 50. So, moving right along. They've been assimilated by the Green Empire. Okay. Well, I guess we'll meet the Green Empire in a couple of turns. We already took care of that. More Horatio. And now we're ready for ships, I think. So let's talk about what we want to build. We got some new technology. We can outfit these guys a little bit better. I really like swarm missiles quite a bit these days. They're hard to counter. What I'd like to see, and what I hate, is that this is always on the other side. So this is 55, 28, and 14. Yeah, it's not as good. So the missiles are better than that, and we don't have an extra slot for another support module unless we get rid of our engines, which I'm not willing to do. So this is fine. We'll just roll with that and apply that design. And then for the tool, I'm going to edit, and I am going to go ahead and throw guns on here. This is just in case we do come up with missiles, come up against missiles. Yeah, he really does. If I recall correctly, his upgrade slots are really flexible like the rest of them, so it actually is really valuable compared to a lot of other factions who get stuck with like support slots and defense slots that aren't great, but at least they're something. His are, I think, the real flexible slots like that, where you get a lot of extra things, but we'll check it out. We may upgrade these. What I really want to do is, now that we have this module, I want to show you one of my preferred ways for building a siege ship. We are going to confirm this change. I like this change. Oh, we want to get better shields for sure. But we have our scout ship, we have our offensive ship, we have our defensive ship, and we're going to create a new type of ship. And we're going to call it the Beauty Bomb. And this is going to be one of the ships that has the most but cheapest cost. So this ship is very cheap to construct, and it only has support slots, but it makes for a very, very good siege ship. So this is one way you can make really cheap siege ships, is find your colony ship and retrofit it to be all siege modules. If you do this, it's really, really slow, but that's typically okay because it's going to be escorted by another fleet. So you're usually going to move your fleet in first and then just move these in behind. You can also put engines on them and build a couple of them because they're cheaper. So compared to what other ships would cost, 2 siege modules on this is only 225 industry, where if I build this, say, on, let's see, not this class, the Borrow? Yeah. This class has 3, but it's already way more expensive. So you could also build it like this, but this costs almost 100 more industry to build, and you're only getting 1 more siege module, but you are also getting the engines. So I guess that's probably okay. For some of the factions, the colony ship is absolutely the best choice for building siege ships or just straight up manpower ships. If you want to specialize the ship for nothing but manpower, that's another good way to do it. I kind of like this design better than the other one. This is only 5 with an engine. Yeah, let's go ahead and do what I was originally going to pick. So that was this class, right? Good grief, come on. There it is. So we'll do 1 engine and 2 siege modules, and it's 225. Yeah, let's do this. We can always create the other design too if we don't like it. But this will be enough to get rid of the pirates. And then we need to build a real fleet first. So we're going to build a tool and 3 of those. And then I'll throw at least 1 of these at the end of the queue. That's only going to take 5 turns because we're really, really good on industry. We can actually move some population over to these ash worlds if we want to improve industry a little bit. But it will lower the food. If I do 3... Yeah, it's not taking any turns off of this, so there's no reason to do it. It's still 5 turns either way. Alright, and then this system has some new food buildings that we can build. And pull him back over here. The approval's fine for the moment. Maybe big data shipyards. We might turn this into a ship construction yard as well. Also, pulsos benefit from being on planets with an anomaly. There is an anomaly over here, so let's move the pulsos back over there so we're getting the extra science for their population pip. I know I wanted the food, but we got food buildings going down now, so. Alright, official supports. It doesn't really matter, because we're a dictatorship. It does, however, affect your approval benefits, government approval benefits and penalties in your system. So if you have a lot of population that are not represented, it can actually give you negative approval. We'll just keep our hat going. You can see those penalties if you mouse over here. So this system has a lot of negative approval right now because none of the population pips are really interested in the ecology because it was basically just pulsos. Now that we have some Horatio over here, that will change by the next election, I'm sure. We won't be getting minus 21 approval for not having the leading political party represented in the government. Alright, we've got our first ship. We'll get that fleet together here shortly. This fleet's going to take care of that nonsense.
Welcome to the Sophonoty. There are some among us who doubt your intellectual...
Alright, so the green player is the Sophons. I don't think they're going to attack us. They don't generally start out really aggressive. We're going to go ahead and scout that curiosity and then head on our way, and hopefully they'll just leave us alone. Anything else? I think we still try to take Estra. It may be a little bit more difficult to do because of the distance, and we don't really have a great way of defending it if they decide to get cranky about it. But it's fine. New quest. That could become a priority. Yeah, wormhole tech. That could solve that issue quite significantly. I think we can take another approval hit, and even if it pushes us down, we'll just stop cram for exam for a little while. Let's take a peek. Yeah, it did push Artemis down. But we have actually a better way to solve that problem. First of all, we can just move him off of the unhappy world. Second of all, we can push Infinite Supermarket into the queue, and that will push us back up above Ecstatic. This has finally come to an end. Yeah. So we'll actually want to check. Mizar's still 90, so we're still fine. Horatio are growing. Got another ship, so we're building... this is the whole point of getting that economy started in those first 30 turns, because now I can crank out a ship every turn in one of these good systems. And that's largely to do with colonizing all these planets and taking advantage of xeno-industrial infrastructure. Yeah, the fleet will not be completely unemployed, because I think we're probably going to start a war with the Sophons. Since it's the closest territory that I have to me that I'm aware of, there might be something out this way, another constellation, but as it stands, they're actually not very... They're not the greatest in terms of their ability to defend themselves in the early games. They get a lot more dangerous in the late game with their fleets being fairly strong sometimes, but their ground troops are garbage, which actually gives us an advantage Even though their ships are easier to produce than ours and typically stronger than ours, our industry output, I'm sure, is better than theirs. In fact, we're not too far behind them. They're at 333 overall points. They are one of the 2 strongest factions in the game currently, though. So that is something to be concerned about. And maybe another reason why we want to mess with them a little bit so they don't get too far ahead of us. Because if we let them run uncontested, that could be really bad in the late game for us. I've got 2 probes and no more movement, so I might as well use them. It's possible. Go ahead and send those out that way. Alright, a couple more turns and we'll have our fleet ready to go. Anything else I need to do? I don't think so. You can see our dust situation's improved slightly, which is good. We haven't really done anything. And now it's back to negative again for no obvious reason. Lots of stuff going on. Alright, so we now have the ability... Look at this. We're just growing population like crazy over here. We can fix this by moving a couple of people out of the upper rings of overpopulation. And we definitely want to grab the food buildings. So we'll get both of those going, and then predictive logistics. And then we can consider doing more over here. Planet specialization's probably valuable enough to kick into play. And I'm going to go ahead and kick in the dust one for now, just to try to ease this, even though we're not in really bad straits with that. It'll just give us a little bit more breathing room. Alright, heroes leveled up again. 5% food is actually going to be pretty big on that system. So we're going to start putting points into this for the next couple of turns. We now have a Harashim. This is actually good for us. On Artemis. Wanted to go check that out. And a quest. We finally got the scavenged ram scoops. That's good. We can update our fleet with better engines now. Outposts on 2 unique planets is the only option we have. We have 1 unique planet, so we only need to get 1 more. This quest is always 1 plus whatever you're currently at when it spawns. So sometimes this number will change depending on what faction and what planets you've already colonized. Which hero did we pull? Oh, this guy's pretty cool. We already have a scientist hero, but that's fine. I'll take another one. We'll have to see if we find any endless planets with our scout ship here soon. And we're ready for another technology, and I think it's time to grab autonomous construction. And let's go ahead and build another one of those and another tool. That'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 command points, and that should happen. Autonomous construction is done. Yeah, we can go ahead and queue up wormholes too, I think. We're still a little ways away from that. We're going to have to grab some more tech here first. We do need snow planets, and eukaryotic sap's not bad. This also gives us the accelerator hack that I was talking about earlier. I'll throw that in the queue. Wow, look at our science. Our science is so good I can get 2 techs done in a single turn. Is there anything else that really needs to be queued up? I mean, I guess we could go to medium ships, but we really don't need to yet. Commercial frameworks would be good, but I'm not really concerned about getting that until we get rid of the pirates, so they're not screwing with our trade routes. We'll just bank it. we should be able to get wormholes next turn. Can we start? Yeah. We'll go ahead and start heading over this way. They've got 6 fleets over here, or 6 ships over here, 2 fleets of 3 now. So it's a good thing I added another tool, that will help. We can move people out of the overpopulation slots here. Alright. Things are going quite well for us. This fleet's almost there. Alright. Now I can get down here? No. I need one more? I thought that was enough. Alright, we'll get mag field generator. That's good. Alright, we have new military tech available to us, including higher tier missiles. Everybody's building something relevant. This hero has leveled up. Yes, let's not forget to do that, actually. So all of our ships really just need to be updated with ram scoops. Revealers need ram scoops. Oh, grab the right one. We don't have better probes yet, so that's fine. Okay, I don't think there's any weapons that we want to change to besides these at the moment, but you're referring to the pirates. Yeah, we need to look at their weapons for sure. That's probably what I should have done before we jumped in here. But we'll do it after, since I've already jumped in here. Alright. And now I don't have vision of them. They probably have moved off. We can go ahead and get this fleet ready to fight. They'll be there in one turn. And we did colonize Perseus, so first things first, 60 industry. Then drone networks and cerebral reality, and then I'll come back and look at it. That'll take a few turns. I don't want to spend too much time dinking around over there with so much other things to do. We can send a probe out this way. And there are no curiosities over here, but there are some over there, so that's where we'll head. Anything else we want to do? I don't think so. I think we're good for another turn. We do need to check our approval and make sure we're not falling below, like these systems are starting to fall below, and that has to do with their population. This system's ready to probably build ships, but first let's go ahead and get this. It's worth 60 industry. Is there anything else here that we need to grab? Not at the moment. Alright, now we can get wormholes. That will help us get over to their system faster. And that's only going to take 4 turns. Man, it's nice when your science is working really well for you. I can get to ecstatic in this system if I move one of these guys off. That's probably worth more than the science that I'm getting. So we'll do that. Let's see, we have empty construction up here. Oh, the Hiroshima, that's what I wanted to look at. Let's take a peek at the Hiroshims. So, Hiroshims Just give us a lot more food for splicing them into our population. I don't know that I care for that. This might not be one we care to splice. It's going to be very expensive to splice them in. It's going to cost us 6 population, I believe. I'll have to think about that. Plus 3 food per population is a lot of food, and we would get it back very quickly. But it doesn't really benefit us in any other way, so... we might have to find a way to just get rid of them. I'm curious about something, actually. Yeah, it does disappear. So one of the things I was talking to somebody in the forums about was population management with the Horatio. And one of the things that I said I didn't know, but I suspected, is if you put a population in a spaceport, it removes it essentially from your system. You don't even have to give it a destination. So we have 0 chance of actually having Hiroshima born in our system if we stick him over here. It's almost like we put him in a jail cell, and we could just leave him here. Like, he's not doing anything, and unless we need the spaceport, like, so be it. More space for Horatio, right? So yeah, I think I'm actually going to just pull him out because I don't really want his population growing. I'd much rather have these guys that give plus 6 food with all those other nice things. So yeah, we're just going to use this as or the anomalies. This is going to help dust-wise for sure. This is actually worth a fair amount of industry on this planet. We don't have any anomalies, but we do have a bunch of curiosities to search. So let's look at building a scout ship over here and using it to uncover all the curiosities near our home system that we've uncovered since the beginning of the game. Let me just double check our scout ship and see if there's anything I want to do differently. We put better engines on it. I've got 2 sets of probes. That's probably good enough. So we'll just make 1 revealer. Yeah, I figured out what you were talking about, Tim. Hopefully there are some anomalies here because that would make magnetic field generators actually worthwhile. Throw that down. But we're going to actually move this revealer to the top of the queue. It's only going to take 1 turn because we're badasses and we have a lot of industry. Alright, this fleet is almost complete. We actually have all of the offensive ships, I believe. Or maybe there's 1 more. And then we're going to grab the... what is this? Oh, because these guys don't have the better engines. So we'll go ahead and pay for them to get the better engines. We queued them up before we changed the ram scoops. This system has 150. Oof. What would an invasion look like right now? 300 versus 150. We also have... whoops. I think I pushed in turn on accident. We also have the ability to switch over to tanks now. And I think we can do both of these. Barely, but we can. When you're fighting against 100% infantry, tanks are exceptionally good at winning that fight, especially if you can get to this tier of upgrade. And that's because these guys cost 15 manpower versus 5, but if you do the math with these upgrades, they actually do significantly more damage for that same 15 manpower than 3 of these would do, and they have significantly more health. Now that is only the case if you're fighting 100% infantry. Once you start throwing tanks into the mix, it gets a little bit trickier to do the math, and if they ever get any air support, it's a lot trickier. Once they get frickin' all 3, you really kind of have to have a mix yourself to be most efficient. Turns out tanks beat the crap out of dudes. Yeah, they kind of do. Keep sabotaging their supplies. And then we'll hack them again. Unless we want to hack... We might hack over here. We could hack Xenius. The pirates aren't going to be around too much longer now that our fleets are completed, so... Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. That's going to take a long time. Also, one other thing we should probably do is put encryption on this system. We can probably take encryption off of here. Alright. It feels pretty good. That takes care of the hacks for a while. Now that we've changed that, it shows we have 20 tanks to their 28 infantry. This is a no-brainer. We'll defeat them pretty handily. Since we're well below the 450 limit, it makes sense to preemptively bomb. Otherwise, we're just giving up free damage. And I like to watch these occasionally. Bombing took out half of their fighting force, just about. They actually didn't kill a single unit, and that's what I'm talking about. The extra health just makes your tanks incredibly resilient. Alright, so that's the end of that. We now have some options. What is this? I don't think I've ever seen this option before. Elevate? You will elevate the system and its inhabitants. -10 approval on the system if not in dictatorship. Your military fleets orbiting the system will lose all remaining movement. The system's manpower will be reset to 50% of its maximum. I thought this was called something else with other factions. It reads the same as I recall. We're going to occupy because that's what it said to do for the quest. I don't remember that being called elevate before. And this is why it said raise the approval to 50. Yeah, occupy, sack, or raise. Sack is the one that I'm... Elevate must have a slight difference. I'll have to pay attention next time I'm playing a faction that says raise and see if I notice the difference between those. We have enough to do this, and we should. We'll also throw those in the queue, and we should. Everything else, I don't really know. I'm not sure we're going to even keep this system for very long. But this is probably worthwhile, at the very least. And we have dust water. Where did we get dust water? Did we just find it over here somewhere? Huh. Is it related to a population type? Oh, this is a new population type. That's why. Yeah, we got a new population type. Let's take a look at them actually in the Eider. What do they do? +2 dust. That actually is not bad. We could actually use +2 dust on all of our Horatio. That would be good. So we'll have to raise these guys up to 6. And dust water is their booster, which isn't going to happen. But we should be able to get these guys up to 6 pretty quickly. Right now, Horatio will be the next population to grow here. But we might actually ship him off using the spaceport to another site and try to keep just Eider here so we can get this filled up to 6. Which means that we probably want to build some of the food buildings to help that along. This is another thing we could run. Once we get to a point where we don't really need anything else, we'll just run this. I don't want to build too many buildings here, because again, I'm not going to probably keep this system for very long. Alright, we have things to do. We have a new scout ship to scout with, and lots of curiosities here. Jade Onyx, okay. We've got a lot of that. More Jade Onyx, lovely. Alright, and Adamantium, so that's a pretty decent find. I think there was a curiosity over here to search. And then this fleet actually can be sent somewhere. I guess we'll send them over here to help out. These guys can head over there now. Once we get all of these guys built, we'll move the rest of them over. Yeah, they should be, especially if we get rid of the pirates. We have a pretty good trade route this whole length. So if we build a HQ here or here and then send it all the way down, Perseus actually might be decent because there's 2 nodes here we could get some action off of. We won't get the military hero until we get the approval up to 50 in that system. So that'll take a few turns. But it will happen on its own. Alright, we can go ahead and drop a colony over here now. I think we want to jump onto the steps because not only is it the best, but we also start pulling adamantium right away, so average deposit. We're not gonna boost any of these, but let's double check. This is coming from Mizar, and it's gonna have 310 freaking food on it. That's crazy. If that food ship ever gets all the way over here, it will basically instantly create a single population. Well, I'm tempted to switch it to Volans like we did before, because that one actually has a reasonable chance of getting over here, even though there's not a lot of food on Volans. There's a lot more food than there was. Let's look at that again. So now we're going to get 68 food per ship. In 2 turns it will depart. We could actually double that, but I don't think there's any need to do that. What we do need to do is sell some things to get our economy back in line. We definitely don't need this much of that, and we are bringing in 15 a turn, so I can really just sell all of it, and that solves all of our economy problems again. We don't really need these either. We haven't even had to touch our strategics. That'll help a little bit. Anything else we want to do? These ships are about ready. Yeah, we have a couple of systems that could use the dust specialization. We're building it over here. And actually we can move a couple of people off of that, because all of these planets benefit from this building, so that will be really good. Only this planet's benefiting from it, but there's enough people over here now that it probably makes sense to go ahead and move it up in the queue. We can move a couple of these people off of here. I can move one over there just to get a little bit more use out of the dust building that's about to go down. We don't have any anomalies here, do we? So this building is pretty worthless. I mean, once we get the population completely filled out, I guess it's kind of worth putting down just for the extra 30 or so, but until then it's kind of worthless. Transvine. Antimatter. We'll wait a turn. Okie dokie. I think we're in a pretty good spot. We have plenty of manpower to siege this down. We have some siege modules to make it faster. The real trick is going to be, will our military fleet stand up to theirs? And the answer is, we're about to find out. So it's showing a pretty even fight, unfortunately. We didn't get a chance to see if they changed their weapons, and they did. At least for this ship. This ship has bullet weapons. That ship has bullet weapons. That ship has bullet weapons. They switched all their ships to bullet weapons. That's pretty annoying. Well, it's a good thing we switched to swarm missiles, because swarm missiles are really good against bullet weapons. Unfortunately, our shields on our tool are not going to be very effective defenses. We will go ahead and watch this. Let's go to the overview camera and then free camera. Zoom in just a little bit so we can see what's going on here. Alright, there we go. We should be able to see lots of missiles coming in here, and they should be pretty effective against their shields. Their flak will take down some of them, but that's a pretty good chunk of damage. So it looks like 3 volleys to take them down. Alright, 1's down. Our tool might go down in this fight, which is unfortunate, but this is half of their fleet right now, I think, so it's going to be way overkill, unfortunately. Yeah, most of that volley was wasted. That kind of sucks. And our tool is definitely going to go down. But we will win the fight with only 1 loss to their 3. That was close too. If we had had hull plating, that ship probably survives that fight. But because we didn't get a chance to scout their ships before we got into this engagement, sort of turned on us a little bit. Okay, you said something about a military quest. In less than 3 turns, possess 2 ships with at least 101 offensive power. How do other ships that we just built not have 101 offensive power? What is their offensive power? 96? Are you kidding me? Alright, well, we can solve this problem. Done. Now, I'm gonna need to... Nope. I can't do it. Can I build in 2 turns? That will get completed. And in 1 turn, that'll get completed. Alright, so we've got it. We'll get this done. This is not going to go so well for us if all of these are the same. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I think we might want to retreat, actually. If we fight this... Let me think about this. We'll kill one of their ships for sure. I don't think we'll kill 2. But if we do kill 2, we should be able to finish off the last one. And that is the last of their fleet, right? Yeah, they had no other fleets. I don't have a better tactic than that. Well, we'll draw this fight, but I can go ahead and send this tool over, and a tool and whatever's left of that fleet probably wins against a damaged one. Because it'll be there next turn. The other thing we could do... I think we're going to fight this. I think we take out 2 of their ships, we damage 1, we probably lose 2 of ours, and then it's 1-on-1, but I'll get a tool over there. Plus, we can produce ships faster than they can. These 2 ships are going to replace the ones that we lost anyways, so I'm not too concerned about it. The only thing I am a little upset about is the fact that we're not going to get to probably deploy much of this manpower, but we got a bunch coming from that minor faction fleet anyways. Let's go ahead and I'll even watch this one too. We'll just speed it up a little bit. Yeah, it is showing that we're gonna lose. I'm just curious how much damage they're gonna do in that first round. We clearly took down 1 and maybe 1.5 ships in the battle before. Alright, we'll speed this up to ×2. That's 1 ship down. Come on, get another volley off. Good job. That's 2 down. And then this last one. We may or may not just outright win, but I don't know if we're going to finish him off. We got 2 more volleys, right? Yeah, this is enough. Yeah, so that worked out. Better than I expected, even. Alright, I think we definitely made the right choice there. Now we'll go ahead and get these guys moving over. Yeah, the flak defenses definitely take out some of the swarm missiles, but a lot of the missiles get through. And that's why you really want to take swarm missiles if you suspect the enemy's going to use any kind of, flak cannon defense. If you're using regular missiles, those missiles have so much damage, but the flak cannons just tear them up. The only time you can ever use traditional torpedoes is if you are certain that the enemy has no flak cannons. And if that's the case, they're probably rocking energy weapons, at which case torpedoes are extremely good counter to a pure energy weapon fleet. They just do way more damage at long range than energy weapons do. Alright, we got a new system already. What is this system? Oh, Perseus, right. Duh. Build some food. Food would be good. And then Xeno-industrial infrastructure, and then we'll colonize a bunch of stuff. Yes, yes. Copy, copy, copy. More Horatio for the beautifulest of empires. Alright, we got another curiosity over here. And 1 more next turn. And we're going to wait for our invasion force to get over here and do some real work. I'm actually going to go ahead and throw down another tool and another beauty bomber just to speed this up a little bit. Yeah, just go ahead and blockade that for a while. Horatio for the Horatio God. Yes, I like it. I mean, look at our populations growing. I think we're going to hit 50 here really soon if we haven't already. Where are we at? 45? And we're building like 3 a turn, 4 a turn. Yep. That's a thing. Do we need to drop cram for exam yet? We still don't even really need to drop cram for exam. Perseus is the only one that's not above. We can fix that. Just get all of our people really happy. Alright. Now I should be able to merge these guys all together. We got a revealer. Oh crap, did I build the wrong ship? I did. Alright, well we'll build one here. Wait, no I didn't. This is the scout we sent over here. We're fine. Yeah, our weapon is still being built. I just thought for a second I built the revealer instead of the weapon that we wanted. Alright. Specializations probably do in this system as well. Doesn't need to be done right away, but... Alright, we'll probably siege... Let's see, what are we bringing down? 38 a turn. We'll probably siege until this fleet gets over there, and then we should have a pretty good advantage with the number of manpower that we're able to deploy. Right now we have 380, but we have much better ground units than they do. So yeah, when this fleet finally makes it across in 3 turns, we should be pretty close to being able to take care of them. I already got this one completed. I'll just leave him here for the turn, and we'll pull them out together. Dark glitter, one of my favorite new luxury resources. Let's take a look at what they're using over here. So they have some medium-class ships already that are using primarily torpedoes or swarm missiles. Yeah, we're gonna have to retrofit our ships in order to deal with their fleets. They have 2 of these fleets. Interesting. We'll take a free technology in 10 turns. Thank you. Well, it's probably safe to fly over there because they're not going to attack us, I don't think. And we can just grab that curiosity and skedaddle. Yeah, we're pretty close to being able to do that. In fact, it'd be a good idea just to see where we're at with these guys.
Why are you knocking around?
Yeah, we're absolutely going to have to upgrade our ships and get into the medium and large class ships here soon if we're going to do any serious fighting with them. But we may not need to. They're currently reserved.
Oh.
Let's see. Yeah, they're not very interested in peace with us. At least not initially. But we might be able to do some things to fix that if we wanted to. It just really depends on how much we want to get into a military fight. I think in most games I would largely avoid any kind of conflict with anybody, even somebody as weak as the Sofuns tend to be. But because our industry is so online, we really have an opportunity to maybe take advantage of someone. Unfortunately, the someone that we've met just happens to be one of the strongest players in the game, but you can see, because we built a bunch of military ships, our score has quickly caught up to them. So we're not that far off. And I think we're going to surpass them in the long run. Probes. Where do I want to send some probes? Maybe send one down there. Maybe send one out that way. Kind of clear this space around my system, make sure there's nothing hiding out over there. And then we'll move over here to the pirate system. Or no, there's some curiosities up here to search. And then we'll end the turn. Alright, we now have the wormhole tech. That's going to make sending ships, food ships over here a lot easier. And also defending it. We did manage to finish this quest for the whopping 30 Hyperium. And another point. More science or more... No, more food and industry, obviously. I think we're like one turn away from hitting 50 now. New technology. This building is really good once your population get big, and we may end up grabbing it. But I'm tempted to just jump up to medium class ships. We could also grab our trade routes. Let's go ahead and grab trade routes next. We're about to get rid of the pirates. Trade routes make a lot of sense in a system that doesn't have any pirates. They actually attacked us. Well, that's surprising. Yeah, we'll run away. But that kind of sucks because it just sends us right back where we came from. Alright, new objective. Send an expedition to the indicated curiosity on Sable 2. Oh, well, we're here. Well, wait a turn for that probe. And finish that quest next turn. And then these ships can be moved over here. The rest of our fleet. Along with this one. Along with these ones. We're very close to getting rid of the pirates. That's probably going to happen before we end the video. We're probably going to go about another 10 or 15 minutes. We're getting close to 2 hours. Hacking operation. We got a second hacking operation. I've already got a hack to this system. I can't hack from here yet. I think we're just going to wait. Because I really don't have anything else I can do with this hack. I could try to hack the pirates, but they're going to go down anyways, so I'm not too worried about it. I guess I could hack to Munoz. It's not that much further than the one we did to Zinnius. Alright, you convinced me. We do have the accelerator now. And running the accelerator here... Let's see, can I run it here? Where can I run it? Well, it's not going to let me run it on any of those. Alright, well, we'll just go with it. Yeah, it has to be inhabited by anybody, I think. I think you can accelerate through your own systems, but maybe it has to be inhabited by another enemy player or minor faction. Can we hack the node close to our planet? Zinnius, you mean? Or this thing? The special node? You can't hack on those, and you can't like hack on empty systems like the other Umbral Choir faction can. If we could get a probe over here, we could hack this minor faction. That would be something that might be useful. Alright, more things getting built. Heroes leveled up. We were going to go with industry, probably. Or I could get the gathering rates. So since this guy is on the Senate, this is an incredibly powerful ability that you'll almost always want to put a single point into. The plus 0.5 deposit value on resource deposits is empire-wide, and it includes strategics and luxuries. So if you have a bunch of strategics and luxuries, this is just an insane amount of value. If nothing else, you can sell them for cash, but it's just really, really good and really helpful, particularly on those rare strategics and luxuries that you don't get a lot of anyways. The second point in this ability is pretty garbage, and I would almost never take it because it literally doesn't add anything except approval. It's just like a little bit of approval. But this is really, really good, and it's even better if you put him in a system that has lots of luxuries and strategics, because it also adds to the system that he's on 1. But the 0.5 is empire-wide, so that's really, really powerful. Academy is increased in power. We are at 48. So I need 48 red sang from the marketplace. We may not be able to buy 48. We can buy it. Oh yeah, we can. Never mind. Our economy's doing great. Keep that booster running. Keep that food rolling in. Dust water might be worth grabbing as well. But that's going to take a little while. Did we just... We went from 48 to 52? Oh, 52 is counting these. 48 is over here. 48 Horatio with 4 other. Got it. Alright, this should finish off this quest. And we got attacked by pirates. We will retreat. We have plenty of ships that can deal with those here in a moment. Merge up these fleets. And let's see, now we're doing 40 a turn, so it's going to take a while to get them down to 0. We don't need to get them down to 0. We have enough ships heading over here and enough manpower to beat them in a ground fight here pretty quickly. We're almost even with them, so that's good. When we get them a little bit lower, we'll go ahead and attack them. Alright. The pirates actually may fly over to us. That would be lucky, because we could just get rid of them. This ship can get around the blockade by just going this way. Alright, we can ask him to halt his attacks.
Why are you knocking around?
See if he's willing to do that.
You're making the Sophonoty nervous.
And he's not
What are you
interested.
up to?
I don't think it really matters which one of these we take, but the military political ideology is probably okay. Probably worthwhile. Alright, we can just send him down this wormhole now, so we don't have to get into a fight with these guys. We can get into a fight with these guys instead. Let's wait a turn. The red player is also one of the two strongest players in the game. Ah, the Vaulters. Okay. Well, they don't tend to be very friendly either, unfortunately. Alright. The Revealer needs to do his job and then skedaddle. These ships should have been sent last turn, I think. The rest of these fleets, we're now at 46. We'll wait for the rest of these to show up and then we'll go. Anything else to do this turn? Everybody's constructing good stuff except for Volans. What are you doing? Nothing at the moment, it would seem. Approval would be helpful here because we're getting close to the cap again. Unfortunately, this isn't very much use. That's actually not a bad idea. I don't have spin projects available yet, but we could pick it up pretty quickly. Actually, we could probably pick it up in one turn if I move it in front like that. Alright, we hit the 50 collection bonus, so we're already getting massive amounts of food and influence. Let's check Mizar's approval real quick to see if we need any approval there. I think we're probably fine, right? Yeah, we don't need any more approval on Mizar. That being said, minus 10 approval for extra industries probably just fine. Happiness for military hero, losing tons of EXP for him. That is true. This is taking a long time. There's two things we can do to increase happiness. This building can go in, and then I can just throw this in the queue for an extra 15. Both of those will help significantly. The Cram for Exam Act is only giving -2 approval because we only have one population over here, so that's not a big concern in this system at the moment. In the other systems, it is a concern, but we're so ahead of the curve at the moment that it's not really a problem. So, yeah, it's taken a while. I don't think there's anything I can do to speed that up, really, either.
The Oregon Confederacy seeks only knowledge, and a true place to call home.
Well, as long as your home is, like, far away from me, I'm pretty cool with that. Oh look, we found Ariga. And it is a Vaulter system, go figure. Well, that's kind of cool that they found Ariga. We'll just wait. What is over here? This might be worth flying out to, just to get all of these curiosities. Alright, we're really close to getting this completed, and that's probably where we'll end the video as soon as we do this pirate battle. Alright, so... somebody got attacked again. Looks like our revealer is dead. Yep. That's fine. We'll build more beautiful ones. Spin projects can go down on a few systems. In fact, I want it to go down on a lot of systems. I want this and this to grow to capture Sable so we can't lose it. So I may actually switch all of these over to spin projects here pretty soon. The other thing that makes switching over to spin projects actually valuable now is our population booster actually increases that by another 5%. So yeah, that unique planet would be nice. Spin projects. Approval's still really good in this system. You can see that 0.5 taking effect everywhere. I'm not sure what the 0.2 is from, but it's from something else we're doing. I'll come back to this system in a few turns. This system can switch over to spin projects as well. Got a lot of stuff to get done there still because we've built all those ships, but that won't take too long. Alright, with 13 ships here, we're at 68 a turn. I'll probably wait at least one turn. I want to go a couple more turns and then we'll drop the manpower we have. These can be merged into a single fleet. Oh, whoops. Oh, that was really dumb. Well, now we're definitely waiting a couple turns. I hate it when I misclick crap like that. Alright, to Deneb it is for you.
Your actions will only make the war more painful.
They don't like something that we did. Probably because we settled over here, right? Yeah. Go figure. Alright, we'll start with the basics. And we'll work our way from there. This system finally got a few things done. Let's see. We got Xeno. And we got sustainable farms. Let's get public-private partnerships. Then grab all of those. Those are going to be really, really efficient now. Look at those Horatio grow. Alright, you have two systems with only Horatio population. We can do that. I think we already have that done. Right? This system is 100% Horatio, although this may actually count still for that. This is 100% Horatio. Yeah, that quest should resolve next turn. Alright, anything else we need to do? Besides not goof up my clicking. That quest fleet's just sitting over here. We'll probably send those fleets over that way next turn. After the invasion. Ooh, a pirate fleet. Yeah. What did they build? They didn't really change up anything. Unfortunately, we might end up losing one of our ships to this fight. I don't like the fact that they got to pick our weakest fleet instead of our strongest fleet. That doesn't make sense. But I guess they did it before the other fleet arrived, so... Alright, well, we'll just see what happens. Wow. I was not expecting that. I thought maybe we'd lose the tool or the beauty bomber, but... Oh yeah, we added the bigger torpedoes. That's what it was, you're right. And the swarm missiles are probably giving them cover, so they're doing significantly more damage. That probably would have been fun to watch. I forgot we switched that out. That being said, because... Let's see, we can probably merge some of these together. I can merge those two together, so that kind of nonsense doesn't happen quite that badly again. And we'll do one more turn, and then I'm going to do the invasion. Yeah, this was achieved immediately. Horatio population is near the cap in this system already. Look at that. And yet we're still running at ecstatic because we're awesome. One of the things that we can start to do once we do cap out on here is every turn we can send one or two of our population via spaceport to one of our brand new systems. And that can help things along. We also want to get this done. And the embassy's probably worth getting built. And the miners' union's probably worth getting built at some point. Not a big priority. Alright, we are at our cap, so this is probably worth grabbing. So, there is some debate about that. There's a few things that a trade headquarters takes into account. It will take into account the system that you're on, but it also grabs from all of the systems adjacent to it somehow. I don't know if they've changed it significantly since the Wyvern's World video that he did on trade routes, but it was very, very complicated to try and figure out. And to the best of his knowledge, you want to be in a position where you create a good lengthy trade route, but you also want to be on a system that has as many adjacent nodes as possible. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe we do move it over there. My only concern is if we move it over here, it's only going to get the benefit. Like, it adds for every adjacent node to that trade route. Even ones that are not part of the trade route itself, if you have like adjacent nodes with resources on them, you'll collect those resources. So for example, our trade route will start here, but we would still benefit from these deposits being adjacent to us in some quantity. The only reason I'm putting it here is because it would get done quickly, but I think that's probably going to get done just as quickly over here. In fact, quicker, because I don't have anything else to put. So yeah, we'll do it on this end, and then we'll put the subsidiary on the far end and create a very long and hopefully prosperous trade route. Do we need this yet? Need is probably not the term. It will be efficient when it goes down, but what we need to do right now is we need to research either Planet Cracker or public 3D printing. We do have some lava worlds, I think. I don't really need that. I think we're going to go ahead and grab this. This will allow us to make a lot more dust. Well, you know what? The other option is we just run this. We do have this to run when we run out of other things to build. I'd rather do the public 3D printing, I think. Okay, we got curiosities down here. Oh, that's interesting. Antimatter. This actually makes this system look a little bit more interesting. I've got 2 systems. Do I have any movement? I do. No, I'm out of movement. So next turn. I already saw what was over here now that I looked at it. Looks like a minor faction, so that's probably safe to travel to. Probably. Some of the minor factions get grumpy when you land on them. Alright, is this the turn? I think this is the turn, right? 40... Let's do one more. Put those invasion ships to use. They don't have much other use. Unless we make another enemy here soon. Alright, this system is running out of things to build. This isn't very useful on this system at the moment. So maybe we do just run this for a little while. We could run spin projects. And preemptively here. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Look at that. We're at turn 55 and we've already capped out our home planet. That's pretty darn good. Yep, and we're going to start funneling those populations to other systems now and getting them all capped out. The problem with food is eventually you do reach a point where you don't need it anymore, and that's really frustrating. We can cap out all of our systems really quickly, but what do we do with all that food then? Like, unless you're just willing to continue to expand, which you actually can do with Horatio quite efficiently. But the problem there is that usually requires war, and you're not so good at war in many cases. This is going to be our military commander. So we're going to go ahead and put points into probably XP on the fleet and then health on fleet. I've got 4 points to spend, so that's probably good enough. And then actually let's look at his ship. We'll take one of those. Pull all this garbage off of here. Alright, so we got 4 slots. One of the things I like to do with the heroes sometimes is put siege modules on their extra slots. We don't have a lot of extra slots, we get 1. And the one that probably makes the most sense for this guy is the kinetic enhancer. And then we go something like 2 of those, 1 of those, and 1 of those. And then for defenses, we'll just put 1 of each, since we don't really know what we're dealing with. I think we may end up becoming aggressive with the Sophons, but we're going to have to plan it pretty meticulously. We've already kind of encroached on their space and they're not happy about it, so, you know, just taking it away from them maybe is the right thing to do. That's what I'm thinking anyways. I may want to come grab this system too, if for no other reason than that, because we are going to need that to build some of the bigger class ships. And we already have a couple of deposits of adamantium available to us, so they're not going to make them beautiful anyways. You're absolutely right, Tim. They're not going to make them beautiful. And I mean, look at this guy. He's handsome, right? So we got to pick a quest. We can take a random tech, or a random tech. Own 3 systems of level 3. Reach 260 influence per turn. We're actually really close to that. Reach at least 3 active ecology laws in your Senate. We can do this. We're producing a lot of influence now. In fact, when we first switched over to a bunch of spin projects, we should have checked that out. And I like being the ecologist party because food is good. So if we drop these, it may actually impact our approval. But this is going to impact us in a positive way. This one's probably going to impact us in a negative way. But not that bad. That actually increases our industry quite a bit. And it didn't really hurt us all that much here. So I'm okay with that. So then it's a matter of finding 2 ecology bills to run. There's 1. There's 2. Well, that was easy. More approval and more food per population. Okey-doke. And we got a free tech. And it looks like it's Behemoth Tech? Which class of ship is that? Ooh, cool. So we got the coordinator class medium ship already. That definitely helps. That was a good thing because we were going to do that anyways. You can go ahead and queue this one up after it and get both of them. Swell. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and travel down this wormhole because we might be able to jump over here on the sowers. I almost said sophons. They're already friends with the vaulters, but we got a lot of influence. $10 in 10 turns is 100, right? That's enough. We don't need to do any more. Alright, we'll save the invasion for the grand finale of this turn and then in the video. We've gone on just about 2 hours exactly because I started the video 15 minutes before I started the video. We can send a probe that way. And that's about it. There's not much else to do this turn, right? Everybody's building something useful, except for Alioth, who actually may have a building now. Oh, this is the system we weren't going to keep, probably. We're almost to 50, though. Or maybe we were above 50. That's how we got our hero. We don't need this system anymore, right? We just ditch it. I don't really want this system. I don't have the tech to ditch it, though, do I? I need to research that, right? Or I just evacuate, yeah. Do not have complete ownership. Okay. So we'll just keep this rolling until we get complete ownership. I do want to send this population off of here to one of our other systems so we can grow them. I was kind of hoping we would get one by now. It's going to take another 3 turns. Yeah, we're going to splice these guys if we can, because it's +2 dust per population, which is pretty solid. I don't know, can I move him? If I send him via the spaceport, like right now, can I send him to a system? And if I did, where would it be? Probably Mira. Mira's got room, right? Not a lot of room. Perseus has a lot of room. Yeah, let's send him to Perseus. Boom. Alright, that's taken care of. They're down to 300 manpower. Their 300 manpower is against our 600. That's 2 to 1, and we're way better fighters than they are, so this should go very, very well for us. Before we end the turn, is there anything else I need to check? Not really. Even with both those laws running, we're still at plus 19, so I don't really need to worry about changing them. We didn't have any better laws to run. This is probably still okay to complete. And all of our heroes... Oh, we needed to assign our hero, yeah. Let's get him assigned. We can assign him to Mira, and then fly him over in one turn. That's probably the best bet. So if I go to the hero page and I click on him, I can assign to, not system, but create fleet. And we wanted to create it on Mira. And then he should be able to just fly right over here in one turn, so he'll get there next turn. We'll send half of this fleet back here to deal with this, and then the other half of the fleet will probably head this way, and maybe towards Zinnius. And then we'll decide what to do. I'm a little interested to see that there's not a wormhole over here, which makes me think that maybe there's nothing out here. But I guess that is kind of towards the end of our spiral arm. So I guess that's not too surprising. Alright, and then to wrap up the video and give it a bang, we're going to go ahead and run this invasion. We could actually blitz these guys, which is going to give us 12 additional tanks, and you guys saw how effective tanks were in the previous fight. There's a few other things that Blitz does. You can drop this down and see the damage multipliers and whatnot, health multipliers, so it actually lowers your health, but you get a lot more troops. And so, yeah, I think blitzing is fine. They only have 62, and they have no reinforcements, so... Here we go. Look at all those tanks. Beautiful. Alright, we lost a few this time. And that was weird. So they didn't actually win outright. Well, we were really close. Alright, we might have to do one more turn. We're going to continue that. We'll do one more turn just so we can say we finished the pirates this video. There's our little guy heading off. Alright, we got 3D public printing now, so I can set systems that don't have anything better to do to that. I also need this technology because we're definitely going to need to start mining this soon. And gas planets are around. And that will also give us level 3 upgrades, which we'll probably want to start looking at. The other thing that we want to do is, I believe, our subsidiary is ready to be built. Volans has been compromised. Okay, we did put a defensive module here, but we might have another one available now. Nope, just encrypt. I think I'm going to go ahead and run encrypt on Perseus as well. Don't care about that. We'll save that for the end. Got a couple other things to do here. We should be able to merge our hero with one of these two fleets. And what I really want to do is break these out into a single fleet. I got another one here. Alright, let's combine that. Should be able to merge those into a single fleet. And then this fleet is the 3. We don't want these guys in this fleet anymore. This is a pain in the butt. Merge those into there. I should be able to merge the hero into there. And then these things can be escorted by those. That works. Alright, now that's all handled, so I know what to do with it later. Anything else? This is going to be built in 1 turn, so we need to make sure to remember at the beginning of next video to drop our subsidiary either out here in Esther or in Volans and get our first long trade route going. This guy has a probe, but he's probably better spent just traveling the lane and uncovering more stuff. Can send that probe that way. There's a pirate that's leaving this way, so we know there's something that direction. In fact, I can kind of make out what looks like the edge of a bubble here. Could be a minor faction, or it could be that red player. They're not really slowing down the siege ships all that much, and I'm not going to do much with them anyways at this point. We may just fly them over to Zinnius if we get in a war right away, but otherwise I'm probably going to fly them over to Volans. And actually this system has some things that we can build again. We could also do 3D public printing instead of that, but actually food would be nice here just to grow. We also have defensive big ships we can build, so we'll be looking into that soon. Alright, anything else? Naos has a unique planet. It does, but it's also the academy, and you can't settle it, so you can't use it for that quest, unfortunately. You have to build a colony on it, not just occupy the system with it in it. So like, for example, these guys have Ariga, but since they don't actually have a colony on it, it wouldn't count towards that quest until they do. But good eye. Alright, this will be the end of the video, for sure. And actually, I don't even need to blitz. We can preemptively bomb, and the bombing will kill them. There won't be anything left. Boom. Game over. It could be. We're going to have to make a decision. It's either going to be the Vultures or the Sophons. Now, one of those two is much easier to win a ground war against. I'll let you guess which one. But it will really probably depend on which one of them we can get friendly with. So if we take a look at the friendliness between these two players, they're both at Cold War with us. But I think we're going to have to bully the nerds. I think you're right. And the reason for that is, A, they're already mad at us because we settled near them. The Vultures may be easier to make peace with just because we don't have any pressure in their constellations yet. Pirate layer has been gutted. The sooner we can get these influence bubbles over these other systems, the better, because then pirates can't respawn on them. We actually may have pirates respawn on these systems if we don't pick them up. Yeah, we're going to send one of our fleets over there. In fact, the hero's going to go get some XP. We can go ahead and get him started. And then this fleet, I think we're just going to go park over here in Volans for now. And that's about it for the video. So I hope you guys are enjoying this series. I am going to continue it. We'll go another 20 or 30 turns in the next video when I do another one, and I am going to do some more Umbral Choir as well. I also had a request for some United Empire play, so if you're interested in seeing United Empire, let me know in the comment sections of my videos. And until next time, this has been The Nose Plays, and you guys have a great evening. It's been a lot of fun.